Welcome to a new era, ladies and gentlemen. Spencer Rattler is the quarterback for your New Orleans Saints. Today is the show that many of you have been waiting for. 50% of the audience will come in here a little ticked off. 50% will come in thrilled and proclaim the Saints ready to march to the promised land. And for those of you mathematically challenged like myself, we'll have another 20% come out of the woodwork and tell me how wrong I was. Because just like I can't add and 50 plus 50 plus 20 and think it's 100, they can't listen. That's right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Twilight Zone, a.k.a. the Dattitude podcast, and it starts right now.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? Called Rod Serling this morning, and he said it was okay to enter another dimension and welcome in all the haters. So that's what we will do here on Dattitude, episode number 408, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Wednesday, August the 27th, 2025. I am your host, if you don't know this already, Jim Derry. I am 35 years on the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you for being a part of the Dattitude family. You know what's special about our show, not just today, but every day, which is why so many of you come back. You talk to us, we talk back. We hear you, we listen. You don't always listen. Not all of you. Some of you do. Many of you do, but not everybody. We're going to get into that. You could be a part of today's show and every show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time. If you're watching on after the fact, or if you're listening on any of the major podcast platforms, which we all are on. We are on all of them. Whatever, you know what I mean. You can find me on X at Jim Derry Jr. or via email at jderrytheadvocate.com. And if you haven't already done so, we've had a really good few weeks here because people want to see me eat crow again. Where's that crow po? Oh, I don't have to eat crow po, boy. I told y'all this was going to happen. Anyway, I told y'all it might happen. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. And if you have a second, you don't even need a second. It takes like a millisecond to click the like button. Click like. There you go. Helps the algorithm. Oh, by the way, so as we start the show today, first off, you see this? I want to thank Rainy Cajun. Rainy Cajun, the first ever gift to the Dattitude podcast. He made this. It's pretty cool. Like, you know, it's not the coolest gift this show's ever got because it's the only gift this show ever got. But it's one of the coolest gifts I think of. That's really thoughtful and creative. So thankful to Rainy Cajun for sending this to the Dattitude podcast. We got a little logo for our stand. Maybe it's the beginning of merch, y'all. Who knows? Who knows? But you know what today is? Today is, I think the show is going to enter a new dimension. We have a new theme for today's show. And I wanted to play it for you right now.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
That's where today's show is going, boys and girls. I can just feel it in my bones, but it's going to be fun. I feel the funness in today's show. Today is going to put the attitude in Dattitude. I can promise you that. Not just from me, from y'all. I'm going to get to the comments in just a minute. First, breaking news this morning. Sort of breaking news, anyway. Adam Thielen across the NFL. Adam Thielen is leaving the Vikings. He's been traded back to his homestanding Vikings. He will finish his career where it started. The Carolina Panthers get a 5th-round pick in 2026 and a conditional 7th and a 4th and 5th in 2027. Y'all were complaining about y'all like to talk about draft pick values. If y'all think are any late round values, the Vikings are giving up a lot to get 35-year-old Adam Thielen back. I'm just saying. Although they will be without Jordan Addison for 3 games because he is suspended. So I think Thielen actually goes in there probably as wide receiver 2 right away, right? And then he's wide receiver 3 when Addison comes back. We'll see. Anyway, that's a lot of picks. So y'all remember when y'all were talking about how big a deal a 4th-round pick is? Blah, 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 blah. Well, Vikings gave up 2 of them. Oh, they gave up 2 5ths, excuse me, and a 4th and a conditional 7. That's a lot of picks for Adam Thielen, who is 62 years old. I'm sorry, he's 35. What's the difference? He was probably wide receiver 3 with the Panthers. Did the Carolina Panthers preview this morning. If you missed it, all of our previews, we only have 4 left, including your New Orleans Saints. That'll be on Friday morning. We did the Carolina Panthers this morning. We did the Falcons yesterday, right? I forget. They're all running together. I don't know. Anyway, so you can catch them as shorts on our YouTube page, which is why you should go subscribe. Also on our TikTok page. So anyway, Xavier Legette, Ted McMillan, they are wide receivers 1 and 2, the young guys, and now no longer Adam Thielen. So we'll see what that does to the Panthers. Also, breaking news, sort of. Does anybody care? The Jaguars traded 6th-rounder in next year's draft to the Lions for wide receiver Tim Patrick. And not breaking news. Everyone knows this already. You might not know this part. Shedeur Sanders made the Cleveland Browns roster. He was named QB3. It sounds a lot like Saints last year with Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener, and Jake Haener being QB2 and Spencer Rattler being 3. But then when it came down to it, Shedeur Sanders was actually they're all going to play. All 3 of those quarterbacks are going to play this year. The Cleveland Browns are a mess. Joe Flacco is going to start the season. How long will he last? Who knows? Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders both will play for the Browns. I think they both will get starts, but I am sticking as we move in and transition to the Twilight Zone and talk about, you know what? Spencer Rattler is named the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints as we transition into that. Eric Richey coming on at 11:20. Many of you will remember Eric. He was a broadcaster here in the New Orleans area for many years, then went off and he started his own company, a company which I am proud to say I also work for, Varsity Sports Now. I do play-by-play for that company, and I love doing play-by-play, and I love working for Eric. I love working for VSN. Anyway, he's going to come on today. He's going to talk about the Saints. He's only going to be on for about 20 minutes, though. Gabe's going to come on later. We're going to talk about LSU and probably a little bit of Tulane. But, of course, the big news is Spencer Rattler and also the cuts that the Saints made. Isaiah Foskey's gone, everyone. You know what? I wanted to go back and get the clip from when the Saints drafted Isaiah Foskey on our live show. And I may do that for Friday if I have time because Zach's coming on. It was Zach and I. It was our first ever live show. And I have the clip, and I have to find it. So I didn't have time this morning, but I'm going to play the clip for you. I'm not wrong about everything, y'all. When the Saints drafted Isaiah Foskey, I lost my mind. So before he even walked into the building, I lost my mind. And here we are 3 years later, or whatever the hell it is, and he's gone. And what a waste of a pick. I mean, I don't care what Tyler Shuck does. I don't care if Tyler Shuck ever plays a down for the New Orleans Saints. He won't be as wasted of a 2nd-round pick as Isaiah Foskey is. That's a whole different story. That's coming up later again. But we got about, you know what I'm going to do before we even get to the comments this morning, because I see there are a bunch in the queue. We're going to get to him again. Eric coming on at 11:20. He will only be on for 20 minutes this morning, so we're going to have plenty of time. It's going to be sort of a Mono-y Wednesday of sorts. Again, Eric's only going to be here for 20 minutes, so we'll talk to you before he gets here and after he leaves, and then Gabe's coming on, and y'all will all be here. But before we get to all of that, let me tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. They never, ever, ever have a quarterback controversy. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family run or private. Let's start over. Of course, they are a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family run or privately held business. Much better. Just as importantly, they can help you figure out what that business is worth. Maybe even more importantly, That's you or someone you know, someone you love, someone you care about, someone you want to help. It is time to reach out to Evangeline's founding and managing partners, Nick Braden and Ron Hemel. They will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from their offices either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. And from there, you will be well informed to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. Again, they never have a quarterback controversy. Sometimes they have a controversy at linebacker. That's a whole different story. What does that mean? I don't even know. We'll fill you in more later in the show. Check back with us. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. I was thinking about playing Rat Round and Round. Y'all want to go back to some hair bands, baby? Rat doesn't have a lot of hair, though. Doesn't really work. Rocky, happy Rat Day. You got this one wrong. For our sake and sanity, let's hope the rat proves us wrong. Charles Mangus, good morning. Happy hump day. Guess we'll have to go with the rat till he folds. He's not going to fold. He's going to fight. I want to say this. Lost clapped eye arbitrated for a good OL from Dallas. Yeah, we'll get to that. Congratulations to the rat. I mean, seriously. He's got an opportunity now. He's got an opportunity to prove all the naysayers wrong. Okay. Before I get to any more of the comments, we got plenty of comments. Thielen is also much better than Vele. Okay, Gabe. Thielen is going to be using a walker soon. I digress. I'm going to say, seriously, if you're a Saints fan, no matter who you were rooting for, if you're rooting for Shuck, you're rooting for Spencer Rattler to succeed. Okay. What I think's going to happen, what I hope happens are two different things. I hope he comes in here, seizes the job, and takes off and says, take that, everybody. And I like the way he commented. Look, you could tell how excited he was. He has a chance now. Forget about last year. And I'm going to say the same thing I said, and I hate to compare him to Dennis Allen, but going into last year, remember when I was pissed off that they kept Dennis Allen, and a lot of us were. Okay, this is a different situation somewhat, but once the Saints made a decision, they were going to stick with Dennis Allen, you root for him. You root for the Saints to make it happen. And I didn't think it was going to work out. It didn't, but that doesn't mean this isn't going to work out. Just because I personally think, I've said this before. I said this last week. I said it on Monday. I said it last week. I said it a month ago. I said, there was a chance Spencer Rattler was going to start. Anybody who says I said that Shuck was 100% going to start, like my numbnut son who couldn't wait to text me yesterday. You said there was 0.0 chance that Spencer. I never said that. We'll go back and play the clip if you want. I said I thought it was more likely Shuck would start. I said if it were up to me, I would start Shuck. But I never said there wasn't a chance. In fact, I said that if I thought if Kellen Moore thought that this first 4-game stretch was going to be tough, that I thought he would go with Rattler. And then that would give Tyler Shuck an opportunity to come in after a potential. I'm not saying they're going to start 0-4. I say potential 0-4 start. I say it's a possibility. According to the odds makers, we did the numbers. Gabe ran them the other day. 35% chance, according to the odds makers, that the Saints start 0-4. They start 0-4. It means Spencer Rattler's 0-10. It means he probably gets taken out. I don't hope that happens. It's certainly a possibility. But with all that, before we get to some more comments, Eric Richey's in the green room. We'll have him on in about 5 minutes. All of that being said, you root for, if you're a Saints fan, no matter who you wanted to be quarterback, you root for Spencer Rattler. It doesn't matter what you want. You have to trust in this coach that came in here and making the decision that he made the right one. Whether the Saints start 4-0, 0-4, or somewhere in between, you have to trust that he made the right decision and that he knows what he's doing and he has a vision for what's coming in the future. I'm trusting in that. S. Callie, good morning. Rat. Lots of rats. UBN, round and round, baby. Long live the rat. Get your Saints Super Bowl bets in now, folks. You can make a lot of money. Saints win a Super Bowl, and you get a bet in now. You can make a lot of money. Chad Gage, hello. He's disappointed with the decision due to Eating the rat poison last year. His prediction is Rat finishes his Saints career this year with an 0-12 starting record. I think they wouldn't go that far. They're not going to let him go 0-6. If he gets to 0-4, I think he's getting yanked. It's just that's again. Doesn't mean I'm right. Gary, good morning. What else we got going here? I don't have time to show multiple comments from. We will get to you later on if you have another comment in there. I apologize. We got to get rolling. Nathan Thomas, good morning. Rat Pat baby. Who dat? I'm waiting to see. Mark Tanovich has got to be here this morning. Rob, good morning. Adam Varner, you think Moore picked him to shut up the Rattler lovers? I doubt that seriously. He didn't pick Spencer Rattler to shut anybody up. When he goes 0-4, Shuck will start. Maybe that's true. Probably. If he goes 0-4, I think that is true. But a 38-year-old coach coming in here to succeed right away, he isn't coming in here to shut up Rattler lovers. That's ridiculous. Come on, man. I love you, Adam, but that's crazy. Dylan, the Rat, QB1, Chuck's agent I like the plan. Booker, who dat? Earl says it's going to be easier to pull Rattler by game 5 than it would be to pull Shuck. You know what? I don't disagree with that at all. Olive, we'll love to you too. Thank you for being here. What else we got? UBN says he's going to send me a Rat jersey for my birthday on Friday. You send me a Rat jersey, if it fits, I'll probably wear it. Dylan Smith is rooting for the Rat to be so good. Shuck never sees the field. You know what? Kind of am too. There he is, Rainy Cajun. Again, if you missed it, you see this first ever gift to the Dat show. It's pretty cool too. It just comes off. Yeah. If we ever change our logo, we could just take it off. Stick it back on. Kind of cool. Thank you, Rainey. Charles says great gift. Yes, absolutely. Who dat daddy? You know who he's rooting for. Like he's been saying, choose a quarterback similar to start because where you drafted him, the Rat is QB1. I'm sticking by what I've said. That's not why they're starting the Rat. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he comes in and starts at least 2-2. Here it is. Twilight Zone, boys and girls. Hold on. In case you missed it, I don't care that it takes 30 seconds. Hold on, Eric. This is where we are today.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone, baby. Rod Serling, you ain't got nothing on the Dattitude podcast. There it is, Big Sean. I was dead wrong. No, I wasn't. What was I wrong about? When I said Shuck would be the week 1 starter. I gave you percentages. I never said it was going to happen. You want me to play? You want the receipts? I'll get the receipts and play them for you on Friday. You're dead wrong. The haters are here, baby. Patrice, hello from Toulouse, France. In French, we say, qui vivra verra. Who will live? We'll see. Wait and see for the success of Spencer. We hope that he has the success. All right. We're going to get, I know there's plenty of comments in the queue. We are 100% going to get to all of them. I promise you. But we have to welcome in our guest because he only has a short amount of time with us this morning. And we have got to get to talk about the Rat. Welcome to my friend, Eric Richey. How are you, my friend?
Jim Derry, I'm doing fantastic, man. It's so good to be with you. And, man, it's that time of the season, isn't it, my friend?
It is, and we're here to talk about your Cincinnati Reds on the show today. Oh, wait, no, I don't think anybody wants to hear. But
no. I was ready.
Eric Richey, who has spent many a year in this city covering the Saints, covering LSU, covering Tulane, covering high schools, covering it all in the broadcast world. You've been, I think, on every station in the city at some point. And you started your own company a few years ago. We'll get to Varsity Sports Now in a minute, but just how is life for you these days?
Man, it's going great. It's the new world of being an empty nester. So my daughter we dropped her off last week. My youngest daughter, Emma, a beach volleyball player in Jacksonville. So that is a new chapter in our life. But I'm a granddad, so I've got 3 grandchildren down the bayou to my oldest daughter, Chelsea. So that has me very busy. But, you said we started our own company. I got tired of people telling me I couldn't work for their stations anymore, so I just started my own. So that's how you solve that. And then you just got a side hustle and see if you can pay the mortgage. So
can you fire yourself, Eric?
What's that?
Can you fire yourself?
I can, and I've thought about it several times. Okay,
that's pretty funny.
Several times, but yeah, we're just VSN Varsity Sports Now. We're just pumping up for the high school football season. We've been driving across the state previewing our affiliates, both on the high school football and volleyball scenes. Loyola University still. They have a new partner with Urban Edge Network, but we're still producing and distributing those games. So those games are still on VSN as well. So plenty to keep us busy, my friend, plenty.
And I am excited about getting started. My 6th year, hard to believe, my 6th year with VSN as a play-by-play man with my friend Jim Rapier and my director Todd Whittington. It all gets started a week from this Friday with week 1 of the prep football season. We have plenty of prep on VSN. We invite everyone to check it out. VarsitySportsNow.com. You can check us out.
Especially your crew, that crew of Jim and Todd.
We have lots of fun.
You guys are my age, right? We're both class of 85ers. So
that's right.
All of the little references that you guys bust out, especially in a high scoring game.
Music references, baby.
The music references. I'm texting you guys, adding to the conversation. You guys do a fabulous job. We're lucky to have you.
Well, we have fun with it. And again, it will start on September the 5th. September the 5th. We don't exactly know where week 1's going to be because the team that we cover most, Shaw, is on the road and we don't have that game. So we'll figure out where we are week 1 soon. All right, let's get to the Saints and Spencer Rattler. And obviously you've been following this whole saga. And if anything else, more, you just got to be glad that it's over. The saga, at least for now, is over.
Man, I didn't know how long he was gonna take this. I mean, I think he said in jest, right? It was just like a college team. We're gonna wait and let them guess on who our starter is. It was kind of like Coach Payton on how he used to play injuries.
Right.
But yeah, this whole quarterback thing has been, obviously it's been first and foremost in Who Dat Nation. We're all glad he made a decision. I think, I was in Indianapolis in 97, 98 when the Colts had that one pick and Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf. If you go back now, everybody said they were on the Peyton bandwagon, but man, it was 50-50. Our sports department at the Fox affiliate in Indianapolis was 50-50. With my Louisiana background, I knew a lot more about Peyton. So obviously I was on the Peyton bandwagon for the Colts to take Peyton, which so glad that they did, obviously. But, I was on the Spencer Rattler train as well. I know, a lot of people wanted Shook, from where they drafted him, what they saw in the preseason, but really all the things that Coach Kellen said the other day about why he went with Rattler, right? The decision-making process, he talked about the mobility, just all that confidence that he gained, obviously, when the bullets were flying last season. And right, he didn't win a game and he looked a little dicey, especially in the second halves of those games. But there's no what's the word I'm looking for, Jim? There's no substitute for that experience when the lights are on. You can take all the reps with the ones you want in practice, play all the preseason games you want, but Rattler has the obvious edge with just the 6 games he started, 7 games he played in last year in the NFL. Shuck is going to be, I think, a good quarterback when he gets his chance. Hopefully it's not a chance because of an injury. But again, like the buzz coming out of Saints the facility yesterday was, hey, we're all behind him, right? Even Shook said he was very disappointed about the decision on a competitive basis, but he's going to back the quarterback QB1 in the room.
Why do you think, Eric, that it took this long? Okay, so I think all the signs were there, and even though I predicted Chuck to win the job, I never said he was going to. I never said he was 100% going to win the job. I predicted he would win the job. That doesn't mean I said he would win the job.
Wait, I just saw a guy just say that you were wrong. That you said.
They love to say I'm wrong.
They twisted the words.
But we love him. We love him anyway. But here's my question. I think the signs, when you look at them, the signs have been there for over a week now that Spencer Rattler is going to win the job. He got most of the reps with the ones in practice. He came out in this last preseason game, played with the ones. When the ones left, he left. So the signs are there. I've been saying, this is one thing that I know I'm right about, okay? I've been saying for many weeks that this was never a quarterback competition. There is no, I don't care. Kellen Moore can say whatever he wants. There's no doubt in my mind his mind was made up over a month ago, okay? You could see all the signs. They were all there. Whoever won the job, his mind, in my opinion, was made up, unless he was just blown away, a month ago. Why do you think that it took this long? Why did he wait until after the last preseason game to tell these kids who won the job and then move on and tell everybody else?
I think contrary to the proverbial popular belief that he wanted to keep it kind of in-house, he didn't want to tell the media, doesn't want to, get ready for the season with the starter and everybody knows about it. I think it was more internal, right? I think it was for that quarterback room why he didn't make that decision earlier. He wanted that competition to play out, right? He wanted Tyler Shough to feel that he was playing for a starting job, to see what he could get out of it. Maybe he didn't have that ultimate decision. Maybe Shough blew him away by starting that Jacksonville preseason game, which he didn't. But Rattler came in and, in my opinion, solidified QB1 in the second half of that game, especially, and Shough did it right in the preseason opener, throws the pick six and then throws a bomb touchdown. Resiliency, right? We overuse that term now in sports. Well, that's exactly what Rattler did after his turnover against Jacksonville, and then he let him down, touchdown pass, 2-point conversion. I think he solidified QB1 in that second preseason game. And then what he did, the way he looked, kind of the way he had command of the offense in that final preseason game against the Broncos, that's when I think he really won the job. But again, to your question, I don't think Kellen Moore makes that announcement because of the personnel that he has. He wanted to let it play out the way it did and then make, tell Tyler Shough one-on-one, man-to-man, here's the decision I made and here's why I made it. But kind of gave him that, what do you call it, the 1-minute manager, where you start with the positive, you tell them what you really want to say, but you leave them with the positive as well. And I think that's exactly.
Eric broke up a little bit there. Let's see. We hope he doesn't freeze out on us. There you go. There you're back. You kind of froze up.
I don't even know where I left you.
Right at the very end. You were good until about 5 seconds ago. Okay. Jim Derry here with Eric Richey on this Wednesday morning. Dattitude podcast presented by Evangeline Securities. We thank everyone for being a part of the show this morning. Again, there's a bunch of comments in there. I promise I'm going to get to comments, especially to all of you wanting to gloat and prove me wrong. We'll go back into the twilight zone of the podcast of the comments in just a moment here, I promise. But Eric's on limited time with us. Look, I want to start with the positive about Spencer Rattler, and I do want to talk about Spencer, and I want to talk about the positive. We're moving forward now. And with Rattler, I will say this. He gets a clean slate to some extent. Look, that 0-6 for the people who are rooting for Shough, that's going to hang over Rattler's head if he can't get this team some wins. But I will say this. He gets a clean slate for the most part, comes in. He's got the starting O-line. He doesn't have to worry about going in there and, hopefully not running for his life. He's got Chris Olave. He's got Rashid Shaheed. He's got his starting wide receivers. Got Jawan Johnson. He won't have Taysom Hill and he won't have Foster Moreau for a little bit. But, however, all that being said, Spencer Rattler comes in. You say there's no doubt about it. He is, at least for now, he is the quarterback. You don't have to guess anymore. And now he clears his mind. And I like the way he reacted. He was fired up. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
all of those things you just mentioned, Jim, he did not have the luxury of during that 0-6 season. And I know that's what you were alluding to, but no Olave, no Rashid, no O-line, right? Running for his life, throwing to guys like you and me that could have, been a tight end on that football team. I mean, who was his receiving core during that run? I mean, I can't even name those guys anymore. But the bottom line is you're right. He's got the ones. He's going to be working with a healthy Saints starting lineup. Let's see what he does. There was a lot of excitement, if you remember last year when they named him the starter for that first time that he went out onto the field. There was a lot of excitement, a little buzz, and he played well for about a half. I equivalate. Did I make up a word? Did I equivalate a word?
We do that all the time here.
I love it. Back to the
I do it on live broadcast on your show. On VSN.
I guess I would use the analogy, if I'm going to be like a pompous speaker, to a young starter in baseball. Go back to my Cincinnati Reds. Chase Burns is lights out for those first 3 innings, but maybe that second, third time through the order, it's a little dicey, and his ERA kind of pops up. Maybe that's what we saw with Rattler last year. That adrenaline, that just that mojo coming out onto the scene in the first half was there, but you got to keep grinding. The adjustments were made, and you look at his QB rating first half versus second half last year. And,
right.
He got that experience now. And I like what you just said, Jim, too. Let's concentrate on the positives now, because this is your guy. This is your QB1. Let's get behind Spencer Rattler. Let's talk about the positives, because that's exactly what they're doing on Airline Drive. Right? The O-line, his special players, the specialists, everybody right now is talking about getting behind Spencer Rattler.
And if you're a Saints fan, it doesn't matter who you were rooting for. What you're rooting for is meaningless at this point. I mean, So you're not going to root for, even if you were rooting for Shuck, you'd be, look, there's no other way to say it. You're a moron if you're rooting against Rattler. If you want Rattler to fail, you're an absolute moron. You're not a real fan. I mean, it does, just because the guy that you wanted to win didn't win doesn't mean you don't root for the guy who did win. And so as a Saints fan, if you're a Saints fan, you look, go Rat, go. You hope you never see Tyler Shuck take the field, because that means that Spencer Rattler has been successful.
What you just said, it's like, are we talking sports or politics? When I moved down to who cares? Who cares who you wanted to win? Who won?
Exactly.
Right?
Move on.
When I came down here in 91, the first time I moved to Houma, Louisiana, working at HTV, and again, no cell phone. So I'm on the payphone at like the La Casa restaurant, the Mexican restaurant.
What's a payphone?
I'm telling my guys, I'm like, you will not believe, they talk about how hot the weather and the food is. Doesn't compare to how hot the women are. But here's the other thing. Politics is like a sport down here. So you just did sports
like a poison.
Politics. Politics, because I had to do news during the election year of Duke and Edwards. That was my introduction.
Oh, Lord.
To like, I told Martin Falls, who's still the guy down there, I'm like, look, I'll do news. I can barely pronounce half the names, but you got to let me still do some sports. So I was doing the HTV radio phone game of the week. And so quick story on that, and I'll wrap that up. They tell me no team, high school football, had won a state championship in Lafourche or Terrebonne Parish since the 60s when I got there in 91. E.D. White won it in 69. I'm there 1 year. We do play-by-play all the way to the Dome. South Terrebonne wins 4A. Thibodeau wins 5A. I find the hottest girl I could find, and I'm out of there. See you later. Nobody's won one since. But I came back because somebody got a voodoo doll of Richie and poked him and said, you'll be back. And I drive down that same road to see my grandkids 2-3 times a week now. So there you go.
How many of these fans, how many of my that family members are poking my voodoo doll right now? So it happens all the time. Look, what do you think it does for this team? I mean, what are your thoughts for this team? I mean, there are low expectations, which means that maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe Spencer Rattler has longer of a leash than I think he's going to have. But what are your expectations for the team? What are realistic expectations for the New Orleans Saints?
What it does for the team, and I thought you meant in a literal term, and it just bands them together. They get behind Rattler.
I agree with that.
I see what you're saying as you expounded on the question, how does it affect the wins and losses? I don't think anyone me included, and I'm not close to the team like I was even when I came back in 2007 to that run with CST up to a few years ago. So from really my vantage point, Jim, looking from the outside, I don't have high expectations at all for this team. I think the Rattler decision to be the starting quarterback gives them a little juice, gives them a little fire. Now let's get this offense rolling. You notice we haven't said a word about the defense, but anyway, 5-6 wins, right?
Yeah.
How are they going to win more than that? I mean, going into the draft, I remember just looking at every position had a need, literally every position, secondary, linebackers, D-line, O-line. And I love who they took number one, right?
Yeah.
You got a left tackle.
How could you not?
Blakes, man, that guy, I'm way on his bandwagon.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not? That kid's going to be a stud in this league for a long time, in my opinion. All right, before I let you go, because I know you got to make a run to Lafayette, so I'm not going to hold you too long here. I do want to ask you real quick about what do you think about LSU? You covered them as well. And my question of the day with LSU, I'm going to ask it with Gabe in a little bit, but how much does Brian Kelly need to win this game against Clemson? They're 3.5-point underdogs at Clemson on Saturday night.
Absolutely needs it. Can't have another loss to open the season. Absolutely no way. It's unfathomable how many games in a row they've lost to open the season. Quick question for you, Jim Derry. And I got this just before we went on. I was just looking on Twitter. This is per Vivid Seats. What is the average price for an LSU Clemson ticket right now? Average price per Vivid Seats.
I usually know this kind of stuff, but I don't know here, so I'm just going to make an educated guess. Average ticket price. Well, I'm going to say the price probably just in general is like $250. So
there's a get-in price and there's an average price.
Okay, so that's got to be it's got to be at least twice that. I'm going to go over. I'm going to say 600.
600. You're talking Texas, Ohio State. That's 604. LSU Clemson is a distant second, but still, I think number 2 at $471.
That's still more than I would be willing to spend.
It's much more. Well, it's about what we pay you guys to do play-by-play for VSN. Yeah,
for a half. I mean, I got a raise. I heard I got a raise this year. That's what I get for a half now. So that's awesome. That's what I hear.
That depends on if you do the halftime show or if you and Jim go eat pizza and get all your stuff that you get.
Yeah, no. Well, that you'll have to throw in a little. You'll have to throw in tickets to the LSU Clemson game there.
Oof.
But what is your expectations for this LSU team? Look, I personally, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hoping. Maybe it's the hope part of me because I don't think the Saints going to be that great, and I hope I'm wrong. But I do think LSU is going to be better than people think. I think they're potentially a 10-win team, whether they win this game or not.
And I listen to guys like you and guys that cover LSU on a daily basis quite a bit. And when they're high in this team, I am. Right. I had the luxury of doing training camp for LSU for almost 10 years at CST, where I was at those practices and listening to all those news conferences.
Eric froze up on us again, and I know he's got to run, so I'm just going to go back to.
Oh, did I lose you again?
Oh yeah, but you can't. You're back now. That's okay.
I'm sorry. Hashtag AT&T fiber, so much better.
Well, knock on whatever. I've been lucky enough that I'm okay with them, but I made sure that I got the extender in my office. I don't know if you have that or not.
I have everything possible to live stream, Jim. I've got it's probably the problem.
Well,
all right, but
maybe that trucks can't find Destrehan. I don't.
The recruiters sure can, though. Holy heck, Destrehan, they're going to be an unbelievable team this year. They'll be on VSN week 1 against Catholic.
Maybe when Jefferson's not starring with the Vikings, he'll have time on Friday night to watch his former. Can you believe?
No,
Jefferson and Chase, maybe the two best receivers in the NFL right now are both in the NFL. They're both not only both in the NFL, but they're
the top 2 guys.
I mean, and they played at Destrehan and Rummel, and we had them. Yeah. Like we covered them. I mean, that's insane for me.
Well, the biggest surprise is obviously Jefferson, because he was not a 4 or 5 star recruit. He was literally the last guy that LSU signed, like the day the practice started.
Right.
You know, I had Ricky rated higher coming out of high school. You know, that's when riverparishfootball.com really started. And then we lost Ricky's senior year. He tore his ACL. So
it's just mind-boggling.
It is. And it just, you know, just the football talent around here. Savion Jones from St. James, that 2019 state championship team, he sacked Jake Hayner right when he came in the game. He's the 3rd-round pick defensive end for the Broncos. So, you know, it just up and down this state it's been so much fun, especially for what we do when we cover them on the high school level, and to watch them just succeed at the collegiate, and then just, like you said, jaw-dropping performances from local guys in the NFL.
Well, I've been privileged to be able to cover some of those guys, you know, here at the Times-Picayune, and the last 6 years for you at VSN, Eric. And, you know, last year doing Shaw games, I got to do 9 or 10 games of a kid named Jasper Parker, who's going to go to Michigan this year and maybe get a chance to play. And who knows, maybe he'll be in the NFL one day.
I took a picture of you in the post-game state championship room, remember? I'm like, hey, turn around. That now. You were just talking to him, wishing him luck. I'm like, turn around. That's a good moment.
I do. I don't think I ever got a copy of that picture.
You know what? I'm going to go through it because I don't erase pictures. So
all right. Well, you'll have to send it to
this December of 24.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing another year of VSN, not just to be on it, but to see what we have. And I encourage everyone to go check it out. It is. I'm biased, but I'm telling you the truth. There is no other service like this, not only in Louisiana, but I venture to say across the country, than Varsity Sports Now. What we do, we are professional broadcast. I mean, I'm telling you, from the score bug, the directors, the camera people, the shots that we get, everything. It's like you're watching ESPN Plus, and it's here in Louisiana, and it's Varsity Sports Now. And Eric Richey, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Hey, it's been awesome having you. I mean, your enthusiasm, along with your compadre in crime, Jim Rapier, you guys add to it. And to me, that's the big part of VSN. Like you said, with the replays and, you know, making it a TV production on a live stream. Many of these guys will never play again, but they're always going to have these games on demand to go back to and hear their name being called out when they make a big play, and having their grandparents being able to watch them up in Minnesota make a big play. So it has been a labor of love. We're very, very pleased to have new partners this year, like Hannon and Pope John Paul, to join, you know, a wide range of teams and schools across the state. The Lafayette area, I'm headed to Cecilia right now, and to Westminster Christian and Opelousas for volleyball. You know, the St. Thomas Moores, the Catholics, Episcopals, Shaw, your alma mater, Holy Cross. You know, we'll go down the line. Newman. It's just been unbelievable. It's been a great ride. We're just going to continue to grind and do it the right way. You know, highlight these kids in a positive way.
New season on VSN actually begins with Jamboree Week. We will have some jamborees on a Friday, August 29th, which is a pretty cool day, by the way. I'm not saying why, but anyway, it's a pretty cool day. And then I will begin, and in earnest, VSN will begin its football season 2025 on September the 5th. I'm looking forward to it. Eric, my friend, I will talk to you soon. And just this once, I'll say, go Reds.
Go Reds. I like the way you say that. Hey, there's a reason why they got that 14 patch this year. That's got to have some good mojo. Let's at least make the playoffs for Pete, for the love of
playoffs. See you later, my friend.
Well, we could do a whole show on that.
Yes, we could. Maybe we will.
I was anchoring the show at Fox in Indianapolis when he said that, and we bailed right before he said it.
He said it on this show way back, episode like 40 something.
I love
Jim Moore was
I'm
on
talking about when he said it live at the podium.
I know, but I just brought it up, and he actually said it on the air here. It was pretty cool.
Which is one time more that he said it on Fox 59 in Indianapolis, because it was the very end of about a 9.5-minute presser, and we bailed right before he said it.
Oh, no.
I got back to the station, and I'm, editing for our Sunday night show.
Yeah.
The phone rings, and it's Fox Sports. Like, hey, can we get that comment about playoffs? I'm like, what are you talking about? I go, he slammed the podium. We got great stuff. Yes. Well, I didn't even know what they were talking about. And I hosted the show.
The fun days of being a broadcast journalist.
Yeah. I did a live shot in Toledo, 1996, when the Flame was supposed to come in the top of the news. It was delayed, and it came with me at sports. It's not here yet. They were, the guys were walking. We're off the air, and we even say we're going to break into programming Sunday at 6:30 when the Flame makes it to Maumee County in Toledo, and we go to commercial, and they gave it to a runner, and he starts kicking off. So I'm running with the guy, our camera guy, and they come to us. The master control guy was in the bathroom. So he comes back and pushes the button, and it's like a Bic lighter about a mile down there.
That's awesome.
There's the Flame. And everywhere I went, we saw the Flame. We saw the Flame. No, you didn't. If you watched Channel 11 in Toledo, you didn't see the Flame.
You had to make a T-shirt for that.
I needed to.
We saw the Flame, and the Flame's about.
It's a Bic lighter, a mile and a half down there. Can you get a shot of that? That's the Flame.
Zoom in, baby. Zoom in.
I did 5 live shots about the Flame coming in.
That's awesome.
4 of them with no Flame. 1 of them after the news, breaking into CBS News with the Flame back there.
I love it. Maybe, when we get to the offseason again, we'll have you on, and we'll just share horror stories.
There's the 2 of them right there.
Well,
1995 World Series satellite shot. I got one for you there too. Indians.
I can't wait.
Safe after the summer.
Be safe going to Lafayette.
I gotta go fast now. Look, I got to be there.
I know. That's why I'm trying to get you on the road. Be safe going to Lafayette, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me on, Jim.
And thanks for coming into the Twilight Zone. I appreciate it.
I like that. That's my kind of people right there. That's my spot. See you.
All right, Rod Serling. See you later.
Take care.
Eric Richey, everyone. Again, seriously, I thank him for all the opportunities that he's given me to be a part. Let's see. I do want to go to some of these comments. I'm not going to all of them. There's way too many. But I do want to go to some, especially to the regulars here. Y'all are just kind of fighting with each other, it looks like. I'm going to go to some. Again, I'm going to go to some of them. Who Dat Daddy says he was a Saints fan. Mom and Dad would disown him if he wasn't a Saints fan. Not a Rat or a Shuck fan, Saints fan. Good for you. I agree. We're not talking about the former quarterback. I'm not getting into all that stuff. Good morning, Cajun Nut. Welcome. Black Preacher Man, I salute you, sir. Last 11 opponent is weak. Saints go 11. Now, didn't you say 10? You gave them 10 wins. Now you're going 11. Okay. Well, if they win 11, Gabe, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. But y'all like to tell me I'm wrong. Only certain people tell me I'm wrong, but that's okay. I'm telling you right now, I stick by what I've been saying. I think that the over-under for each quarterback this season the number of starts that each quarterback will get is a minimum of 5.5. I said that last week. I think I said it with Zach, and I gave him the over-under, and he took the under. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over 5.5, the number of starts that each Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck has this season for the New Orleans Saints. I'm taking the over 5.5. Now, Gabe Henderson has already made a promise. If the Saints win 10 or more games, he is going to buy a Saints jersey, a real jersey, with his own money. He's going to wear it on this show, and then he's going to wash it, he says. I assume he's going to wash it. I mean, you just have to trust he's going to wash it. And then he's going to give it away to a member of the Dat family. We don't know who. I will make a bet here with you. And I'm not wishing for this to happen. I'm telling you, this is what I think is going to happen. If Spencer Rattler starts all 17, I'll tell you what. If Spencer Rattler starts all 17 games, or if he starts 12 or more, but can't play in the other ones because of injury, I will buy a Spencer Rattler jersey and I will wear it on the air. Okay? Because that's what I think. Reality. Again, I'm not rooting for it to happen. I know people think that I'm rooting for someone to fail. I cover this team. I want them to. I don't care. I'll tell you. You're supposed to be a non-bot. No, I'm telling you. I want this team to win. It is way more fun to cover a winning team than a team that sucks. Trust me. I've done both. I've covered this team when they've won. I've covered them when they've lost. It is way more fun to cover a team that wins. But I just don't see how it's not going to be a quarterback carousel. When? I don't know. I hope never. I hope Spencer Rattler is the quarterback for all 17 games, and I got to wear a Spencer Rattler jersey. I'll do it with fun. We'll have a blast on January the 5th, which is the day after their finale. We'll have so much fun on this show, and I'll proudly wear it. And, I mean, I would give it away, but probably most people aren't my size. No, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to want to wear it. So, again, how long is he going to be quarterback? I don't know. I hope it's 17 games. I hope Kellen Moore really means what he says. But you notice he wasn't the only thing he was committing to, and he's not going to get into this thing. He basically said, I'm not talking about what could happen. I'm not talking about the future. Spencer Rattler is our quarterback for week 1. Put it to bed. We're not talking about what ifs. Move on. I don't know. Listen to the press conference. I thought it was very, very interesting. Again, I don't know why y'all are infighting with each other. There's no need. Everybody should be. I think most of the people here, not everybody, but I think most of the people that watch the show, 95% of them, they root for the Saints to win. Not all of them. I know who you are. I mean, it's fine. But if you're rooting for the Saints, why are you arguing with one another? It doesn't make any sense. Sean wants to know which quarterback is under more pressure going into week 1, going into this week, Garrett Nussmeier or Arch Manning. I mean, you'd have to say Garrett Nussmeier, right? I mean, there's no pressure for Arch Manning. He's playing the number 2 team in the country. They lose, they lose. So as far as we're going to get to LSU in just a minute. I also want to talk about before we move on to Gabe. I want to talk a little bit again. We're gonna plenty of time. We're gonna talk more about Rattler, I promise you, and Chuck and whatever. But I'm not going to show all these comments of y'all fighting with each other. That's not what this is supposed to be about. The cuts. Isaiah Foskey finally going. Again, I'm going to find this clip and I'm going to play it on Friday's show with Zach of my live reaction when the Saints drafted the exact time when the Saints drafted Isaiah Foskey. We were on a live show and I lost my mind. Going to show it. It was a wasted second round. No matter how many plays Tyler Shuck gets in for the New Orleans Saints in his career, he can't be a bigger second round bust than Isaiah Foskey. He just can't. Jake Haener cut. He'll probably come back and be on the practice squad. Can't imagine anybody else is going to want him. I'm not trying to be mean, but Jake Haener likely will be on the Saints practice squad. Likely will be emergency third quarterback going forward, I would think. Or at least maybe not emergency third quarterback because you actually have to be on the 53-man roster to do that. But if something were to happen and they needed another quarterback, if Rattler or Shuck gets injured and they need a third quarterback, Haener's probably not going anywhere, is my point. I can't see someone picking him up unless the Saints decide to go get another quarterback that was cut and put him on their practice squad, which is a possibility. Or actually even put him on a 53-man. Is there anyone out there? Is there a quarterback that got cut that you guys think that you'd want to see on the roster? I don't know. No. We're not doing Tommy Cutlets. It ain't happening. I'll get you on in a minute. Clyde Edwards-Helaire cut. I got to say I was surprised at that one. I wasn't surprised that Cam Akers gone, but I am surprised that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was cut, which means that the running back room is Alvin Kamara, Kendra Miller, no surprise, RB1, RB2. But Devin Neal, I'm surprised that Devin Neal is the RB3. I really am. I know after that injury, I thought he lost his chance. Would Devin Neal have not gone through waivers, you could have put him on the practice squad? I've got to be honest. I think he would have made it to the practice squad. So that being said, maybe the Saints just didn't want to take the chance on exposing him. Some of these guys that have been kept across the league. I went through yesterday and looked at some of these cuts, and then I looked at rosters and who was kept. And some of these players that I think the teams were just so scared to expose to waivers. I mean, they're not all going to be picked up. So anyway, Devin Neal has made the roster. Velus Jones. There were people complaining about Velus Jones making the team over Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but Velus Jones does so many things. I mean, he's basically, it was either him or Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis, by the way, got cut. And so they kept Jones. Jones can be a running back. He can be a wide receiver. He can also be a kick returner. Maybe a poor man's, don't get mad when I say this, UBN, a poor man's Debo. You don't know what he's going to turn into, but I like that. I actually like I like him being on the active roster, but to keep him and Devin Neal, I thought was a little strange. Let's see what else we got here. Injured reserve, Landon Young on injured reserve. Man, he's going to miss the entire season. Another offensive lineman gone. Defensive tackle John Ridgeway with a designated to return tag. So he'll be gone for at least 4 weeks. Injured his pectoral muscle in the Saints' second preseason game. This is, by the way, NOLA.com/Saints. This is according to Luke Johnson. I mean, none of these things are surprises. On the pup list, y'all are wondering about Taysom. Taysom Hill on the pup list, Foster Moreau on the pup list. Man, again, another thing that I hope I'm wrong about. I just don't know, y'all, about Taysom Hill. I know he wants to come back. He's 35. People keep talking about Taysom this and Taysom that. There are actually numbnuts out there who want Taysom Hill to be the quarterback or at least be QB2. That's ridiculous. I just don't know that he's going to come back and be anything. 35-year-old with basically the same injuries. I mean, think about Cam Akers and what he went through. And he's 26 and he couldn't make it back. Is somebody going to pick up Cam Akers and try him again? I doubt it. Maybe. But Taysom Hill's 35 years old. We don't know if he's coming back or not. Anyway, we'll see. Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau. That being on the PUP list to start the season means you have to miss a minimum. It's not injured reserve. If you got the designated a return tag, you have to miss 4 games or more. You have to miss at least 4 games. If you're on the PUP list, that means you have to miss at least the first 6 games. We've been telling you that was going to happen. It's not a surprise. Foster Moreau out for at least Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill out for the minimum of the first 6 games. Going back to the cuts list, Nefi Sewell, not really surprised, but second year he tried to make the team. He'll probably stick around. Dante Pettis, I'm surprised that Dante Pettis didn't make this team. But again, I guess you either go with Velus Jones or Dante Pettis, and they chose Velus Jones. Some other names, offensive lineman Shane Lemieux, maybe a bit of a surprise. He came in midway through training camp with all the injuries they have on the offensive line. So let's go this starter list. Matthew Paris has the starters. Luke Johnson had the cut. So at offensive line, here's the 9 offensive linemen on this team. Kelvin Banks, Trevor Penning, who is not going to – it's notable that Trevor Penning is starting this season on the active roster. So they obviously don't want him to be gone. That doesn't mean he's going to be ready for week 1. He may still be injured, but they didn't want him to miss the first 4 weeks of the season and start him on injured reserve. So that's notable, by the way. So Kelvin Banks, Trevor Penning, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Taliesa Fuaga are your starting 5. Then Dylan Radins maybe starts in the spot of Trevor Penning. Sim Richards, who they just got from the Cowboys. The trade they made for the Cowboys. Excuse me. What else? Oh, here anyway. Luke Fortner, also on the team. Again, the trade they made with Jacksonville. And y'all been rooting for Torricelli Simpkins. Torricelli Simpkins. Good for that kid. He is on the team. So those are the 9 offensive linemen the Saints have. Are they finished at offensive line? I don't know. I don't think so, actually. We'll see what happens there if they're actually done with offensive line or not. Other positions of note, there are 3 tight ends. We know Juwan Johnson. Jack Stoll, and I know I'm going to screw this name up. It's the 7th round pick, right? Moliki Matavayo. I know I screwed that up. You know what? I hope I have to learn his name. I hope he becomes an important player. I didn't see much of him in the preseason. I don't remember noticing him in the preseason. Did y'all? And I missed it. Anyway, Trayton Welch being released is a surprise to a lot of members of the media. I mean, it didn't seem like a big deal to me. Edge rusher, Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Cam Jordan, and Chris Rumpf. 7th round rookie Fadil Diggs left off the initial 53-man roster. We'll see what happens with him. And then on the interior, Brian Bessay, Devon Godshaw, Nathan Shepard, Vernon Broughton, Jonathan Bullard, and Christian Boyd. No surprises there. Linebacker, Demario Davis, Pete Werner, Danny Stutzman, Jalen Ford. Isaiah Stahlberg made the team. I thought he did really well. He was one of the names. Obviously, saw a lot of him throughout camp and throughout the preseason. And then a cornerback, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alante Taylor, Isaac Yadam, Quincy Riley, Ugo Amadi, and Rajon Wright. There was questions on whether Rajon Wright would make the team. I thought it was interesting that they brought Rajon Wright to the podium after that kind of told me he was making the team. At safety, Justin Reed, Julian Blackman, Jordan Howden, Jonas Sanker, and JT Gray. Of course, you know, the specialist that made the team. What else? Is there anything else that I didn't talk about? No, we pretty much talked about everything else. So, you know, let's go to some of these. Let's see if we got any comments that are actually worth talking about now. Linda Johnson. Saints have not won a game without Derek Carr in over 2 years. Soon to be 3 full years. You're saying the Saints are going to go 0-17? Come on. They're not going 0-17. Come on. UBN, I'm guessing this is breaking news. I have not seen this. I have not verified this, but I'm assuming it's coming from the X Machine. Gabe shaking his head. Yes. Rashee Rice. Breaking news. Kansas City receiver Rashee Rice suspended 6 games. That's a lot. Saying. Big Sean said he's sticking with 9 wins. Corey Terrio. It's time for the rat train. Well, you know what? Let me switch back to our main. I'm gonna go back with the rat. Again. I know y'all don't believe this, but here you go. This is just. I'm gonna be nice. I don't know who you are, Bayou Bo, but thank you for being here. Dattitude. Why are you so against quarterback Rattler? He's a great kid. I'm not against him whatsoever. I hope he succeeds. I hope I wear a Rattler jersey on the show on January the 5th. I'm not rooting against Spencer Rattler. Preacher man. Kellen's approach, he's keeping an open mind about the talent he has to work with. We'll see. I don't know that he's keeping an open mind at all. Reginald Porter. It makes sense to start Rattler. Let Shuck learn behind. Let Shuck learn behind Rattler. Shuck is the future, like the player. Let his skill set see who that family. Don't. I don't know. I don't know what to say there. Let's see. Who that daddy says Sim Richard, guy from the Cowboys, lives in his neighborhood in Frisco, Texas. A good player and a big human being. Saints need some big human beings. Corey wants to know, I think that they cut Clyde Edwards-Helaire so he'd make the practice squad and kept Devin Neal and plan on swapping them midseason so no one would take Neal? No. I think you expose Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think there's a bigger and I'm not saying anyone's going to take either one of them, but I think there's a better chance that someone takes Clyde Edwards-Helaire than Devin Neal. Devin Neal was picked in the 6th round. Nobody wanted him out before. What did he show that would make anyone think that he's going to go out there and grab him? I don't think so. You know, again, some of these comments, I love y'all, but Twilight Zone, man. I told you we're going to be in the Twilight Zone today. I'm not rooting against the rat. What is it? What kind of virtual hammer can I take and slam over y'all's head? How about this for a hammer? We told you earlier we were letting you know more about how Evangeline Securities can help figure out what your family-run or privately held business might be worth and whether it's time to sell. How do they do it? Thank you so much for asking a different question than you've been asking all morning. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, native New Orleanians Nick Braden, Ron Hemelt, and the folks at Evangeline will begin an extensive auction process from among established private equity funds from around the world. Say that 10 times fast. And they will maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities is the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area. None, and I mean 0.0, with their dedication and success. Got me verklempt this morning. They are fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Dick and Ron about what's really important. And it ain't whether Gabe or I will wear a jersey on the air. You know what's really important? The rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Corey wants to know, is that my birthday gift? Rainy Cajun. Case, I know I'm saying this for the third time, but I am proud of this thing. Rainy Cajun made this for me. And I just think it's the first ever Dattitude gift. Maybe it's the start of Dat merch. You know? Thank you, Rainy. Frederick, good morning, you shawbird. That's right. Jamboree, Friday. We're broadcasting. I'll be doing the first show game of the year on September the 12th at the Z. Alan Taylor, Taysom will probably have a quarterback package once he's healthy. No, that should be if he's healthy. I know it's hard to think about Saints life after Alvin Kamara. Probably not as hard these days without Cam Jordan, because y'all are already been transitioned to Cam Jordan going into retirement. He's beginning that already. Demario Davis, tough to think about. Maybe Tyrann Mathieu was tough a little bit. It's going to be really tough for some of y'all when Taysom Hill is gone. Going to be gone. Are there more players in the IR than the active list? Not a good way to know. I think there's only 3 on the IR? What is it? IR. 3. There's 3 on IR and 2 on the PUP list. Only 1 is not coming. Well, you got Will Clapp is on IR. So actually 4 on IR, if you include Will Clapp. So Will Clapp and Landon Young gone. I mean, it's gone. And it sucks that you're losing 2 offensive linemen. So, yeah. Not that bad. It's not good. But I will say it is tough. We never did get Gabe. Gabe, we never got to that show about the training staff. You know what? Let's bring in Gabe now. Good morning, Gabe Henderson. We never did get to it's actually afternoon now, but whatever. It's morning in Colorado. It's morning in Los Angeles.
It is.
So
it is correct.
Somebody's probably watching where it's still morning. We never did get to the Saints training staff show, but we're going to eventually. But you got to wonder, man. There's so many players. There are a lot. We're going to see how this goes early in the season, but I do still wonder about this. But anyway,
Elijah, I can assure you. Just responding to Elijah says, imagine Taysom in the tush-push formation if he gets healthy. I can assure you, regardless of whether he gets healthy or not, they will not use Taysom Hill in the tush-push formation, because that is asking for his knee to just give out.
Also, I think that Spencer Rattler would be better in the tush-push anyway, because he's a little bit more compact. I think he's able to push a little bit better.
That's why I'm saying he's shorter.
I don't think Shuck would work in the tush push. I mean, you think about the quarterbacks that would work. I mean, Jalen Hurts is what? 5'11", 6, I don't know, 6 feet.
Probably 6'1", if I had to guess.
Rattler is 6'1", so I just think Rattler would work better in the tush. But if they decide to use that, I don't know if they are or not. I think Rattler works better in the tush push. So anyway, Preacher Man wants to know. Oh, he says he still thinks we need a super chat or a cash app. You would do great. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're not at that point yet. Maybe one day. We're not there. But I do accept gifts as long as they're small. I'm not begging for anything, and we don't need anything. But stuff like this is really super cool, and we truly appreciate it, on that. Is this for real? The Saints get Trey Palmer? Sean is saying, I have not seen it. I have not confirmed this, but Sean's saying that the Saints get Trey Palmer, who is from the metro area. I believe he went to Amite High School, and guard Xavier Truss on waiver claims. I have not seen that, but
Saints Wire reported it, but then when you click on that link,
then that's definitely not. Yeah.
When you click on the link, you're now getting a server error.
Regulars, do me a favor, Sean and others, regulars. I don't mind y'all at all telling me things when we're on the air because we don't always have time to look at stuff. But do me a favor, if you're going to say stuff like that, do it from reputable services. That is not one of them.
Okay, so Nick Underhill said the Saints claimed Trey Palmer.
Okay, that is absolutely a reputable source. So he's saying that the Saints. Trey Palmer. That's actually a pretty good pickup. So what happens now? They claim Trey Palmer, and he is certainly good enough to be on this football team. Let me look at. Let me go back to
depends. It depends. He can be a good football player if he wakes up feeling pissed off.
Yeah, I don't care.
Do you remember that whole streak from?
You know who I didn't get to, and as you know what, I'm gonna put this slide back up. You know who I didn't get to earlier when talking about who made this team. I didn't get to Cedric Wilson. I got to be honest. And look, if y'all are regulars of the show and you watched long enough, last year that I was excited. Excited probably isn't the word. I thought it was a great signing. I was very high on. That's the way to put it. Very high on Cedric Wilson. I thought he was going to make a difference. He has not made one iota of difference on this team. And I kind of thought it was interesting that he made this team over a Dante Pettis. Now, Trey Palmer is not a big-bodied receiver. I don't know. How big is Trey Palmer? Can you look that up for me while we're talking here? Not big. Exactly. He's a speed guy. So, which is kind of weird that they're bringing in this. What is he? 6'1"? 6 foot.
6
okay.
foot.
So Cedric Wilson is a little bit bigger, I think. I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
Trey Palmer is better than Cedric Wilson.
Way better. Trey Palmer is
even more so when he wakes up feeling pissed off.
He was wide receiver 3 last year for the Bucs. So I don't know what he did. He must have pissed somebody off. But anyway, he's got plenty of
Emeka Egbuka.
That's true. But they still,
they've now got 4 wide receivers at the very least ahead of him. So
Wilson was cut. I thought he was not cut. Cedric Wilson was not cut. He made this team. He's one of the 6 receivers. The 6 receivers, yeah, not yet. The 6 receivers, and you know what? I failed to mention the receivers earlier. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Devon Vele, Brandon Cooks, Mason Tipton, and Cedric Wilson. So either they're going to have to cut someone else, not Cedric, and keep 7 receivers. I can't imagine that Trey Palmer wouldn't immediately make this team. That would be my.
No, but there was a few years ago where bettors absolutely loved monitoring his Twitter account because anytime that Trey Palmer would tweet "woke up feeling pissed off," he would score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite funny.
Well, then piss him off. I don't know. Tell me. I don't know. Tell me what he likes. Maybe pizza's his favorite food, and I'll go to practice, and I'll say, "Hey, Palmer, pizza sucks." I think that probably wouldn't do it. Tedders. Bye-bye, Cedric Wilson. Maybe. Before we move on, because I do want to talk about LSU with you this morning. I don't want this show to be, we went too long the other day. I don't know if you've noticed it's on the screen, and I never mentioned it until now. Okay. The line keeps going up and up and up and up. And the Saints, remember, it was just like 3 weeks ago. The Saints were 3.5. In fact, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to do this on live television. It's internet TV, but it's still live TV. I have my slides from back the entire month. I'm going to go back to, I don't know, let's go back to August 6th.
What do you need to know? I mean, I can tell
I
you
have
what
it right
the line
here.
opened.
The Saints. Okay, wrong one. What did the line? What it's opened at 3.5.
I can tell you what book do you want? You want DraftKings?
DraftKings is what we usually use.
Okay.
What were they on
got a phone
August the 1st? Now, do they have what they were on August the 1st?
It's a little shameless plug. We've got a neat little tool at Sports
Please, by all means, plug it.
You can see the betting history for any single line. I'll do you one better, Jim.
Sportsbookreview.com. Go ahead.
May 14th, when it opened, Arizona opened as a 3.5-point favorite.
Okay.
6.5 is the highest it's ever gotten.
Which is today.
Yesterday morning it was 6, and it very quickly jumped up to 6.5, and that's where it is right now.
So I could tell you that at least it wasn't that long ago when the lines first came out, which was in May, as Gabe's talking about. So in the course of just 2 weeks, I know for sure it was 4.5 2 weeks ago. So, and Monday's show, it was 6. It went up to 6. It was never 6 before this week. It was 5.5 last week, and we were talking about how it went up. Then it went up to 6 on Monday, and they announced, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with Spencer Rattler being named the starting quarterback, but it's going up. The odds makers are now making the Saints a 6.5-point underdog. I will promise you before Friday's show, I will come up with the last time that the Saints were 6.5-point underdogs in the opening week. It's been a long time. There was 6-point dogs at Carolina in 2005 when they didn't have a home. Okay. They were going to Carolina and they couldn't practice anywhere around New Orleans and were completely disheveled because of Hurricane Katrina. And they were still only 6-point underdogs at Carolina. Actually won that game, by the way. So I'll have to look it up the last time the Saints were 6.5-point underdogs at home.
Put Corey's question up there, and I'm going to go ahead and answer it for him.
Do I think the line changed because of Rattler being QB1?
No. I will tell you why it has changed.
I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Because at BetMGM right now, 76% of all action they've taken on the spread has been Cardinals to cover, and 88% of all money line bets are on the Cardinals to win.
Yeah.
So if you want to know why that line is changing, it's because they still have not found a number to kind of steady the waters there. And it could keep climbing until they do.
Preacher Man wants to know, don't they have to place players they claim on the 53-man roster? Yes, they do. Or I believe they can put them directly on their practice squad if they want. I believe if the player agrees to such a move. So I'll get back to you on what they're doing to accommodate Trey Palmer. I don't know the answer to that. But yes, they have to do one of those two things. Go ahead.
Just to add to that, I wouldn't say it's because Rattler was named quarterback 1. We've seen this line steadily going up, as Jim noted earlier in the week, before we knew, which odds makers pretty much know. I think it's just been the incompetence of the Saints offense in preseason. They have not been able to score points, which is why if I was forced to make a bet on this game, I don't like the 6.5. I don't feel good about a team in week 1 going on the road and winning by a touchdown. I would take the under 42.5 if I had to.
Okay. I will make my official.
Rob Fan Guy agrees as well.
I will make my official prediction on Friday. Again, Zach, if you don't know this already, Fridays are going to be our pick'em day. We're going to do preview of Saints, preview of LSU. Zach Ewing will be here. UBN will be joining the Friday pick'em on September the 5th. UBN likes the under.
I feel like you're going to be saying that a lot this year, UBN.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you might be better off to take a team under than to take the under. Are you serious? Do you watch the NFL? Reginald Porter, who the hell is Trey Palmer? He was wide receiver 3 for the Bucs last year, LSU, and he's a local guy. He went. I think it's A-Meet. I think he went to A-Meet.
Also played for Nebraska,
but he was an all-state.
Went to Kentwood.
Kentwood. There it is, 1A. Kentwood. He was an all-state player. I know that. I knew he was from up that way. Anyway, yes, Jartavius Nathan. Good pickup. Absolutely a good pickup. All right. So I'm going to give my official prediction on the line and spread. Also, the Saints team preview on the Dattitude podcast will come out on Friday morning in the form of a short. And then Gabe will be here to tell me what he thinks about my AFC and NFC South picks. Spoiler alert, what did you think about the Texans pick?
I like it. I agree.
Pick the over.
So far, not to spoil anything, so far we're in agreement.
Uh-oh. That's crazy. All right, Carolina was this morning. This afternoon, I'll be doing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tomorrow morning is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tomorrow afternoon, the Tennessee Titans, and then the Saints on Friday morning. And then we're done. We're done. All right. I do want to talk a little bit about LSU again. I'm going to close the show with final thoughts on Spencer Rattler, but I do want to get I know it's only going to be a few minutes here, but we kind of talked about it Monday. I wish I had more time. We will talk more about LSU on Friday. I'm not ignoring them on purpose. We've just obviously had breaking news. We've had to spend more time talking about Spencer Rattler this morning, but I'm going to ask you the same question I asked of Eric Richey. How much does Brian Kelly need? And I got need in italics. I don't do that very often in headlines. How much does Brian Kelly need to win this game on Saturday?
From whose standpoint? The fans' standpoint?
No, just from maybe even he's not getting fired, so I don't mean that.
He doesn't need to win it
for this season. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't need to win it.
Okay, tell me why or why not?
Because he's not going anywhere,
Yeah.
and I don't think he'll be judged on this game alone. I mean, you are going
By
to
whom? Not going to get. You mean by the powers that be?
Yeah,
Not
Scott
gonna be
Woodward isn't going to fire Brian Kelly.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't. But average Mike the Tiger fan is going to judge him.
They're going to be calling for his head before he even gets to the tunnel if they lose this game. What they don't realize is Clemson has some of the best returning production in the country.
Yeah, they might be
top 10 in SP plus. They're I'm
serious.
5 team. They've got a Heisman contender at quarterback.
They could be the best team in the country by the end of the year. They could be.
Could be. Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't think they will be, but I think they could be. I think they're an absolute lock for the college football playoff.
I think they're pretty close. I think that's a great bet right now. By the way, next Wednesday, Mike Detillier will be on the show. We will absolutely talk Saints, LSU, and Tulane on this show next Wednesday as we go into the season. And so we will have 1 week of college football under our belts going into the Saints opener. But I saved Mike for basically the last guest show before we get into the regular season. David +1 # says Brian Kelly does not need to win this game. This is part of his resume and not good. He does. I'm sorry. He does need to win this game. This is part of his resume and not a good overall look for his future. He won't get fired this year, but it will hurt him long term. I mean, it only hurt.
This game can only help his future.
I mean, what if he loses this game and then goes 11-1? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if he loses this game and goes 11-1, this will only be remembered for like the next 3-4 weeks, and then people will forget that, and he'll be 11-1, and LSU would be like the 2 or 3 seed, and whatever. So no one would kind of give a damn. So Frederick says,
go ahead.
Frederick says Kelly will damn sure be judged for the entire season.
The entire season. It's not one game. If he wins every game and then he goes out and loses, I don't know, against Ole Miss, and that's their only loss in the season, I don't think anyone will care.
What if they look bad? And UBN's got a point. What if they look bad, but they win by a field goal? And they will call for his head.
They'll call for it. People are calling for his head anyway.
I mean,
people don't like Brian Kelly.
Who would you hire? If you're calling for Brian Kelly, I want to know who would you hire? Who's anybody?
I know who I'm making a call to.
Who? Nick Saban?
Miss Terry's husband?
No.
Yeah.
I'm done with him.
You got to call him. I mean, if you have an opening, which I do not think LSU will, I think that's the first call you got to make.
Be better off calling the number. Anyway.
No, you would have to call Nick Saban first. You would just have to.
I don't want anything to do with it. David says if he loses this game, goes 11-1, he'll buy a Klubnik jersey. Okay. I mean, it's again, this might be.
So
wait, hold on real quick. I'm not going to exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating. This is not hyperbole. I truly believe this. This might be the toughest game that LSU has all year long. Might be.
It will be the toughest game that they have all year, barring any playoff. Yeah, so. This will be the toughest. You are going on the road to Clemson, who's been one of the best home teams in the country since Dabo Swinney took over in 2009. Chad, I cannot think of a worse option than John Gruden for this football program.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
I'll give you. I mean, I would rather have Coach O back than John Gruden.
All right. So
realistically, I mean, Summerall. That's the call you make.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That could happen. Speaking of that, that's a great transition. Hurry up. Go ahead.
So
because I want to get into Summerall.
Yeah. Kelly needs to win this game from a standpoint of the rest of the schedule is very tough. You are not going to go undefeated after this game, I don't think. I think there's still I think there's 2 losses on this schedule. Don't know where they come, but I think for his sake and for the team's sake to not put him under any pressure, I think they need to win this game. But this isn't Florida State. This isn't USC. This is one of the best teams in the country. If you lose this game, if you lose a close game at Clemson, there's no shame in that.
Yeah. Charles Mangus says the Saints should draft Klubnik. By the way, how you like my grammar and my headline down there? How much? I've been reading too many comments. How much does Kelly need win? That's some good grammar there, Jim Derry. Good grammar.
How much do Kelly needs win?
Man, that was pretty bad. All right,
how many
you talked about
do
real quick.
Kelly
You talked.
Needs win?
Yeah, whatever. This is bad. We went to the twilight zone. Okay. If you missed it, I might show it one more time. Who knows later? Before we go off the air, Tulane, John Summerall. Very quickly, it's a historical, and I left this page up. I did not know this. Do you want to know why it's a historical? And I use historical in quotes. Opener for the Tulane Green Wave, who are a 5.5-point favorite Saturday morning, 11 a.m. at Yeoman Stadium over the Northwestern Wildcats. Wow. You know why it's historical? All right, here. Why? According to our own Jerry Smith. I'm sorry, it's Gary Smith. I keep doing that. For starters, and this is right out of our story on NOLA.com/sports/Tulane. The Green Wave has not hosted any Big Ten team since 1955 when it shut out the Wildcats 27 years before John Summerall was born. So that's number one. Tulane also is favored by 5.5 points against a power conference opponent for the first time this century, a stretch that encompasses 38 games as an underdog. It's been an underdog against power conferences 38 straight times until now. And as he says, it's tough to access records before then. But the underdog streak numbers at least into the 40s and goes back. 40s mean number of games. The underdog streak goes back at least into the mid-1990s. And if the odds makers are right, Summerall will make history by himself. He is 0-5 against Power 4 opponents, losing to Ole Miss in 2022, Kansas State, while at Troy, to Kansas State twice, actually. And then Kansas State last year with Tulane, Oklahoma last year at Tulane, Florida last year at Tulane. All those losses were by 2 touchdowns or more, except the Kansas State loss last year, which was 34-27. So John Summerall also trying to make personal history. Tulane, I mean, they should win this game, right?
I think you're being very generous, or not you. I think Gary is being very generous calling Northwestern a Power 4 opponent.
Well, they're in the Big Ten.
It's quite literally they are, but that's like calling Purdue a power opponent. They stink.
They're in the Big Ten.
They stink.
Boilermaker.
Purdue over season win total. It was one of my favorite bets this year. Okay. I like Barry Odom a lot.
See, Quo and I agree. Really wish LSU were playing a warm-up game. I've been saying that for years. Gabe doesn't agree with me.
I don't care. I don't want to see them embarrass Grambling or embarrass Louisiana Monroe. I want to see them play Clemson. I want to see it after
they can play Clemson
season.
Fine.
After an off season of Garrett
Play
Nussmeier,
September the 4th.
I want to see him justify it. I want to see LSU play these big games. Big programs shouldn't be. See, like,
no, if you're going to tell me they shouldn't play
small schools,
I don't. That I definitely don't agree with. That's a whole different story. No. But okay, I do agree that LSU should play Tulane.
Can I completely agree with that? Can I give you just very quick, because I know you want to split. Can I give you a very quick idea that I have for college football, and I would love for this to be a
By
thing.
all means.
If you are a Power 4 opponent and you want to play these smaller schools, I think you should have to do what LSU does. You should have to play smaller schools from within your state. That way you can keep the funds within
I don't
the
have a problem with
state
that.
going to smaller programs.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
I don't think
LSU should never play Western
next
Kentucky.
week? No, yeah.
LSU should never play Western Kentucky or Eastern Michigan. All teams that they played as of late, they should never play Troy, whatever. They should never play UAB, who they actually lost to in the Nick Saban era.
Actually lost to Troy.
That's right. They did lose to Troy. I forgot about that. It's a nightmare.
Neil Brown.
Anyway.
Neil Brown, Troy.
That's my opinion. All right.
Do you know where Grambling is next week, Jim?
Not in Grambling, I'm assuming you're asking.
No, they're at Ohio State.
Oh, wow. Why? That's absurd.
They're making a payday off it, but there's no reason for Ohio State.
That is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, no reason for Ohio State to schedule that game.
All right, well, looking forward to getting your picks on Pick'em Friday. We'll figure out. We don't even know what the format it's going to be. I'll figure that out tomorrow. I'll get back to you, but
I'll be ready.
You will be part of the Friday Pick'em show, and I will see you then.
Sounds good.
All right, Gabe Henderson, everybody. As we wrap up the show with some more Rat Dat talk. And I got to wrap it up. We seriously got about 5 minutes left. If you got something else to say about without hating each other, without hating on one another, it's one big love fest. It's the Twilight Zone, boys and girls. That's where we are today. That's what today. It wasn't as bad as I thought, I got to be honest. S. Callie, what is the best way to reach me? Via email, yes. Email is the way to go. jderry@theadvocate.com is my email. And in fact, I'm glad you reminded me. I had at least one email. I had multiple emails. A couple of them were from regulars, so I don't really need to go through that. Where is it? Bernie Jones. I don't know who Bernie Jones is, but I appreciate Bernie is not a member of the Dutt family as far as I know, unless Bernie goes by a different name on here. Bernie said, please ask the Saints to call Jameis Winston and try to get him back. Rattler and Shuck are no good at all. Again, the other comments that I received via email were from regulars, so I don't need to. They're kind of saying the same thing. And by the way, Quo, you are 100% correct. Mike Detillier is the Bayou Goat. No doubt about it. He will be on the show next Wednesday. So here's the schedule coming up, by the way. Friday. In fact, you know what? I'll just go ahead and put this show because we asked you to subscribe and like. Birthday edition coming up on Friday. My birthday is Friday. Gabe's is Sunday. We're going to celebrate together. So this is the schedule. Pick'em show on Friday. It will be every Friday from now until the Super Bowl. Or maybe the week. I don't know. Whatever. There's 1 week in between the conference championship and the Super Bowl. I don't know what we'll do that week. I'll worry about that in January. But yeah, so that's going to be every Friday. Monday is Mono Monday. Wednesday is Guest Wednesday. And this Wednesday, it is Mike Detillier. Reginald says he would love to see Tulane LSU. Pammy Whammy. We need our check. Code Grambling. If Grambling would have won that game, I might do a Grambling show. Reginald's already making his pick. Saints in the under. Taking the 6.5. He's taking the under 42.5. Charles says, go LSU and go Saints. Phil Mariandi. As long as the Rat starts, we'll be getting rich betting against the Saints. Oh, come on, man. Let's don't hate. Preacher Man, you're 100% right, my friend. Hit the like button before we say goodbye. S. Callie can't believe my birthday is on Friday. The same day as, K-Day. 20 years. I believe it's 20 years. 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. 20 years. Hey. I mean, I know people like old farts, get off my lawn. I remember it like it was yesterday. No, I remember it like it was yesterday. I really do. I remember everything. I'll remember almost the whole day 20 years ago. I definitely remember the morning before when I wasn't leaving, and then I was leaving, and then let's get the hell out of here. And it happened. I think I've told you all this before, but Katrina hit 13 days after I left my ex-wife. We were separated for 13 days when Katrina hit. You want to talk about a crazy time in this sports writer's life. I mean, those whole few months in the grand scheme of things were a blur. And I'm sure I'll talk about it on Friday in the open. I mean, I just, yeah, that day. I mean, we can't help but not talk about it, right? It is what it is. Apathy, sigh. Ray Nagin said, don't go to the Superdome. People went to the Superdome. Yeah. I can't watch y'all. And I know I want to close the show out, but if y'all watched any of these specials, these documentaries, I can't do it. I haven't been. Maybe I'll watch one tonight, or I don't know. I can't do it. I haven't been able to. Just can't do it. Earl's picks. See, he can't do it either. Don't want to think about it. It's a complete nightmare. Charles was supposed to go to Iraq for a third time until Katrina came. I think Iraq might have been better. Just saying. All right, back to the Saints again. I'm certain I'm going to talk about it Friday. So if you don't want to hear me talk about it, you probably don't want to be here for the open. I don't know how you don't talk about it. It's a 20-year anniversary. Chad said a new one started today on Netflix. Again, as Callie says, she can only watch one because she's in one of them. You were in one of them. I think about it all the time. I still do. 20 years later. There's sometimes good comes out of bad in the grand scheme of things. I would have never met my wife now. We've been married for 17, almost 18 years. I mean, I would have never had the kids that I have now. I wouldn't have my wife, my best friend, if I didn't have that now. Yeah, I mean, Andrew Guerrero, who died from San Antonio, Texas, living in the 78210, baby. Well, welcome in San Antonio. We love you, Andrew, but I have a beef with San Antonio. Mayor Hamburg, or whatever the hell his name, tried to steal the Saints. Remember that? Rainy Cajun, 20 years, can't believe it. Watch from afar, but the devastation and displacement the storm caused for friends and family was on a scale I can't possibly fathom. I mean, I remember coming back the first time I came back, and like before I even got to my house. Again, these are things I'll probably talk about on Friday. But just driving down I-10, it was like a freaking ghost town. There was nobody on I-10. There was debris scattered everywhere. Getting nails in your tire were a regular thing then, because the only people that were traveling around were the construction people. It was, I don't know. It was like, I don't know. I just can't explain it. The morning before we left, the morning before the storm that we left on Sunday the 28th. Again, I'll probably tell this, but we woke up, we decided we were going to leave, piling everything in the car. Me and my two great friends who helped me during my separation, again, 13 days after I separated from my first wife, and I was living at their house, and we decided we were leaving together. And you got up and you walked out and you put the stuff in the car. And the one thing that I absolutely noticed is, and tell me if you noticed this too, there were no birds chirping. Nothing was there. The birds were gone. I don't even think I saw a roach in New Orleans. There was nothing. This is not a joke. We saw multiple, I don't know where they came from. To this day, there were like these tropical parrots that were sitting. It was the strangest time of my life, bar none, without a doubt, not even close. But there were these tropical parrots sitting on a power line. Where the hell did they come from? Not making a peep, but there were no other birds anywhere. Where did the birds go? How did they know? It's insane. It really, just to think about it. Chad Gage says they took in hundreds of children here in Lafayette schools. It was tough to hear their stories and see the pain, but also the strength of those families. And those kids are Gabe Henderson's age now. You think about it. If you were in the first grade, I mean, if you're Gabe Henderson's age, you were in the first grade when Katrina hit. That's insane that it was that long ago. My son is 27 years old. He was in the first grade. No, actually, I think, you know what? He was in the second grade. He was in the second grade when Katrina hit because I met his mom later on that year. And that's when we started dating. Like New Year's Eve was our first date of 2005. And he was in the second grade. It's just insane. It's insane. We don't do that, Nola, man. It's a good way to get banned from, and you're a member of that family. We don't do that here. All right. Moving on this morning. We had a lot of things to talk about. And again, I just don't know how you don't have a show on Friday here in New Orleans. And I know it's a sports show. And we don't do a lot of things that aren't sports, but I don't know how you don't at least talk about it. And maybe if you want to come back and you want to share some stories about the birds or whatever else of Hurricane Katrina. It is the birthday edition. I will be 39 years old again on Friday. I don't know. I'll probably tell you my real age. Let's just say it's not. Let's just say I was in my 30s when Katrina hit. So you can go from there. Birthday edition on Friday, August the 29th. Birthday edition is Gabe's birthday. Gabe is going to be like, I don't know. If I can be 39, he can be 19 again on Sunday. Whatever you want, Gabe. It's your birthday. You can choose whatever age you want to be. All right, that is going to wrap it up for us here on this Wednesday, a fun Wednesday, the Twilight Zone Wednesday. Well, again, y'all gotta say, y'all were really respectful. Even the ones that came in here gloating a little bit, it wasn't too bad, except for one numbnuts who I didn't show his comments, and he's a moron, and he knows who he is. If I didn't show your comment today and you were gloating like a dumbass, like just saying dumbass things, you know who you are. There's a reason. Yes, I saw it. I read them. I didn't show you. I wasn't not giving you any pub. You're a dumbass. But we love you all anyway. We'll see you on Friday. Subscribe and like. You have not subscribed and liked, please do so. Again, Zach and Gabe will be here. We'll make our picks not only for college football week 1. Gabe will critique my NFC and NFC South picks. Zach, Gabe, and I will make our picks for our division winners. And if you want to crown them, we're going to crown them. Super Bowl winners. We're going to crown their asses right here on the Dattitude podcast. A reminder, again, to subscribe. I said that already. Ron Burgundy, if it's in the script, I'm going to read it. If I go off script and I have to repeat myself, I have to repeat myself. That's what I do. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, many more. You can also find a replay of the show on NOLA.com/sports. You can find me at bet.nola.com. You can find our insiders. Oh, yeah, that's not on the script. At NOLA.com/Saints. And you can find Gabe, sportsbookreview.com, the 19-year-old. You know him. Absolutely. Rainy Cajun, thanks again for the gift. First ever gift of the Dattitude podcast. Earl's Picks, Charles Mangus, Reginald Porter. Great show. Corey's guessing I'm 54. You are my favorite guest of the day, Corey Terrio. Thank you so much. We will see you all on Friday. And until then, take it easy, my friends.